Carrie is in further debt over that dress, but at least she knows Big is gonna see her in the newspaper and his pants probably. Just kidding, he wouldn't care. He's big and he obviously doesn't want you, Carrie. Oh my god. Did you get the check? Did you get the award? Did you win the prize? What is the prize? What is the prize? There is no prize. Through the second season of Sex and the City, we follow Carrie Bradshaw along a journey of self-discovery. All in all, I learned that Carrie is not a great friend to herself, which makes it difficult for her to be a good one to others. But she is a fantastic girlfriend, and I find that balance incredibly unfortunate. From what I've seen of Carrie's journey in the past 2 seasons, I truly feel that she would find a lot more happiness if she were to get more busy. Hobbies, friends, sports, therapy, a journal, a pet, study, something. To nobody's surprise, she repeats the same cycle she did with Big in the first season, but in this season, in my opinion, it is so much worse. In fact, we see Carrie cycle through the 5 stages of grief, and it's not pretty. From episodes 1 to 5, we see that Carrie's character has not changed much since the first season. We see her disrespecting her friends and not being there for them when she's needed. One person she treats with the utmost respect, though, is Mr. Big. Mr. Big Ego, Mr. Big Bitch, Mr. Big Ass. Just kidding, I'm sure he wishes though. On the flip side, we do see Carrie gaining some self-awareness and taking some pretty good advice and life lessons from her friends. In episodes 6 to 8, after Big hurts her again, she lives in a state of denial, but as the episode progresses, we see her move on to anger. Anger really takes over through episode 9 and 10. He really feels the brunt of her rage. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, or so they say. Through episodes 11 and 12, Carrie bargains, and she bargains so hard that turns into depression, and that depression is sustained through to episode 13. In episode 14, she really begins to accept her reality and moves on to other romantic partners, although the depression still lingers. To cope, she kind of starts going around acting like a relationship expert, but she just ends up fucking up her own shit. Acceptance continues through episode 15 to the finale. She dates another version of Big. She dates the male version of herself. Scary shit, but she really learned some things. Although in episode 17, Big returns. Dun dun dun. Which brings in a bit of depression again. Although at the end of the finale, it seems like Carrie has finally accepted that her and Big are through. And eventually, I do hope that she stops being so male-centered and becomes a better friend, but for right now, things are looking quite bleak. At the end of the day, Carrie is a complex fictional being. She makes mistakes both with friendships and relationships, and I admittedly have only seen the first 2 seasons, so she's gonna change. There's so much more to explore. There's so much that I won't even be able to go into. So Carrie is a bad friend, in my opinion, for now. That could change any day now. This episode gives us a brief rundown of where Carrie's life has been since the last season. She puts on a front that she has moved on, although it's clear that she has not. In these first 5 episodes especially, there are glimpses of character development in Carrie, but overall at this moment in her life, it seems that she really does not prioritize her friends. And at least at the moment, she's prioritizing her on and off again boyfriend of only they were seeing each other for a year. So the girls are prepping for a night out on the town, and Charlotte thinks that Carrie just needs to talk it out. She needs to vent about Big until she feels better. Miranda, on the other hand, calls this a hostage situation because Carrie doesn't want to go on. She doesn't want to move on and meet new guys. That made me giggle, hostage situation, because that's low-key what it feels like. Because I know that she's getting over her man. But come on, can we talk about something else? Oh my god. I am really happy that Carrie's finally taking in what her friends are saying about Big. Yes, she did in past seasons, but it would take her ages to get there. And she's only a month into the breakup with Big, so I do feel for her. That man had her wrapped around his filthy little fingers. So the ladies are at a Yankee game and Carrie catches a foul ball and the girls go backstage so that she can get it signed.
I'm a huge Yankee fan.
Miranda is such a hilarious woman. Is it boring of me to say that I'm a Miranda? Actually, I am every woman. I see bits of myself in all these women, but I think Miranda is my favorite. Carrie's liquid courage allows her to ask the Yankee player out to a Dolce & Gabbana party as her +1. She maxes out her credit card to buy this really nice dress for the party. Carrie bought it just in case she ran into Big. Processing. And it turns out that she brought the Yankee for the exact same reason. While blogging that night, clarity and regrets start to seep in. She starts to think back to what her friend said earlier, whether she should go out and meet more people or just cry and vent about it till she feels better. She's not sure which one's gonna work for her yet. So Big never shows up to the Dolce & Gabbana party. This is when she finally decides to get out of her brain, get out of herself, and actually try to get to know this Yankee. We learn that his name is Joe, and she finds herself taking Miranda's advice and making out with him afterwards. Carrie finds herself and her ball player Joe in the newspaper the next day, and Sam says what we're all thinking. Carrie is in further debt over that dress, but at least she knows Big is gonna see her in the newspaper and shit his pants probably. Just kidding, he wouldn't care. He's Big and he obviously doesn't want you, Carrie. Oh my god. And of course Sam doesn't say it in those exact words, but bitch, that's what I heard. Miranda is sick and tired of talking about men, and she delivers this line which I really like.
How does it happen that 4 such smart women have nothing to talk about but boyfriends?
She was trying to show the girls her new Palm Pilot, but nobody was listening because they were too busy talking about Carrie's ball player and Charlotte's ball tugger. So while I understand why you can be like, oh my god, just let them talk about it, they're frustrated, they want some advice, I also understand Miranda's frustration. It's not that she didn't want to talk about boyfriends, she's just frustrated that it takes up the majority of their conversations. Also, being ignored by your friends sucks.
Just, you know, give me a call when you're ready to talk about something besides men for a change.
As they say, to be in a village, you have to be a villager. You're gonna be inconvenienced sometimes, but you will also sometimes be the inconvenience. If you're gonna stay in the village, you're gonna have to take and give. But that's only if you wanna stay in the village. And if it did get to that point where like all your girlfriends were talking about was boyfriend, this man, this, I would understand not wanting to be in that village. But she clearly does, so she's gotta do the giving and the taking. She knows how her friends are. So Carrie's out with Joe at a bar later when she runs into Big, and she has a grin the size of the equator on her face as she walks towards them. Not because she's on a date with a celebrity while bumping into her ex, but because her ex is there. She tries to introduce Joe to Big, but he already knows who he is. Girl, I'd be gritting so hard. I know it's not healthy, but I'd be gritting so hard. Yeah, I moved on. Bigger and better things, bitch. And in a move that I view as a power play, Big leans into Carrie's ear and says, "You've never looked better." Big knows what he wants, and he gets it. What a move. Could you imagine if Carrie had the swagger, the charisma to pull something like this off after running to Big with another woman? Big would faint. I would faint. Actually, come to think of it, Big wouldn't care. He wouldn't care. Anyways, Carrie stops in her tracks. Her heart is beating fast. She longingly gazes at Big as he swims through the crowd and turns to give her one last look back. Seduction. As Joe kisses Carrie on the way to their next function, she bursts into tears. The presence of Big overwhelmed the fuck out of her. She tells him that she's not ready for this, that he needs to forget about her, and then she goes to meet Miranda at their spot and they make up, and she vents her feelings to her dear friends. Carrie shares that the most important breakup rule there is to make sure that you have your friends with you by your side. You know what? Yeah. Hell yeah. So the next episode, Carrie's at her friend Sharon's place, and Sharon's husband is very aggressive.
So I'd really appreciate it if you take the fucking noise somewhere else.
Watching this, I was really afraid that this was getting into like physical altercation territory, just for Carrie to leave while Sharon's husband is breaking the sound barrier over her having a couple laughs with her friend while he's asleep. Personally, and this is just personally, I'm not leaving my friend with a man who so casually, verbally her. And yes, that's what this is. This is no way for a grown person to be talking to another grown person. That has done nothing to you. She was laughing, bro. But I do concede to the fact that I know nothing of Carrie and Sharon's relationship. Maybe Carrie has tried in the past and nothing came of it. But that does not seem likely because Carrie goes home wondering whether their fighting is a form of foreplay. Okay. I really just can't. He's verbally abusing her. That behavior is not normal. Not to be the fucking woker. I am the woker, bitch. I am the woker. That behavior is not acceptable. It freaked me out. Like, what the fuck? And all I can think about is Miranda's complaint from the past episode. Like, why does everything have to do with relationship, sex? Seeing a grown-ass woman in her mid-30s, like, not grasp this, it was just very jarring for me to witness. And yes, it was a different time. It doesn't change how I felt about the scene while watching it, you know? And Carrie is very tiny. short frame, standing at 5'3". Not a lot of surface area to be doing any kind of defending, but you know, there are discussions that could be had with your friend. There are things that you could do. There are people you can call to make sure your friend is okay. And obviously, this isn't the subject matter that the show decides to dive into this episode. But once again, it was just jarring to watch and I had to talk about it. So Big is playing these games with Carrie. He keeps dropping these one-liners that a grown man should not be saying to the woman he's dating.
Listen, I just wanted to call and thank you for the flowers. That was very thoughtful of you.
My secretary had it on her calendar, so
So Big shows up to Carrie's birthday dinner with his +1 just being Jack the divorcee from last season. Not everybody needs to know that you think your ex-wife is a bitch. Like, we can live without knowing that. Get a hold of yourself, you chauvinist shit stain, and go to therapy. Thank you. So Carrie's friend is a little bit of a chatterbox, but she's actually giving this really nasty man some great advice.
I do think it's more important to till your own soil than it is to go in search of greener pastures.
Amen! That is fucking fantastic advice. She's telling this man what he needs to hear, but all she gets back is a, "Do you ever shut the fuck up?" I would be so aghast. What is wrong with you? I'm trying to help you. Fuck! Charlotte gets home to her hyperactive dog, who she kept locked in a room with no way to entertain himself or go potty, and she's shocked that he shat everywhere and destroyed her sheets. The dog gets given to Carrie's friend Sharon, and it allegedly fixes their marriage because Sharon's husband yells at the dog now instead of her. Once again, DV was not the subject matter of this episode, so it's not dived into. The show presented an issue this serious, verbal abuse, and minimized it to this insubstantial issue that was fixed with a dog. It's Sex in the City, but I can't not mention it, you know? So Carrie tells us, the audience, that she is still not over Big. Duh. And I really don't want it to sound like I'm ragging on Carrie for being a hopeless romantic, but let's think about it for a minute. She wants to get back into a relationship that makes her feel wildly insecure with a man who she knows, or at least has an inclination, doesn't like her as much as she likes him, who her entire support system disliked. Why would going back a second time change anything? But we've all been there. We've all been there. I can't say that I have not. I'm really fucking hoping that I don't do this shit by 30s. And I might. Oh my god, I hope I don't. Ah. It's now episode 3, and Carrie's really getting back out there again, discovering herself, meeting new people. Doing this has really brought her a lot of clarity concerning her past relationship dynamics. The ladies are discussing first dates. Sam doesn't believe in them. We also learn that she doesn't subscribe to the traditional idea of aging, having celebrated her 35th birthday 5 years in a row. So later on, Carrie's off on her first blind date in a while, really trying to give this moving on thing a go. The guy's name is PJ and he sucks. He hates what he does and he's only in it for the money. He's the guy with no soul. Her next date is to the movies with a guy who seems really cool at first, but then he blows up at a guy behind them for standing too close. The man with two faces. Her next date is with a man who allegedly has a lot of money, but ends up stealing $1 books from the secondhand bookstore. The man who steals cheap used books for no reason. Carrie stares at a picture book about freak shows at old school carnivals while wondering, are all men freaks? Sad because of all the frogs that she's kissed recently. She's sitting alone in a park just thinking when a man with the aura of a Pixar dad comes and starts talking to her. His name's Ben, and they bond over their recent shitty first dates. And they share the same sentiment of thinking that the opposite sex are freaks. The chat turns into a meet cute when they exchange numbers and plan to meet up later. I have to mention this one thing that I absolutely adore about this show, and it's the amount of intention that goes into setting up a scene. Oh my god, look at this. It's just so stunning. The colors are so vibrant. Look at the perfect placing of that fountain. Sorry. Not only do we have this gorgeous larger-than-life fountain behind Carrie, but we have park performers and people giving out balloons and whatnot, connecting to the circus freak theme of the episode. Can you, like, what? I love it. I love it. I love a theme. I love when the theme is stuck to. Thank you. Pixar dad Ben drops Carrie off at her place after their first not date, as they refer to it, and they really like each other. They have 4 whole dates within the span of 1 week. Cute, my dream date. Just kidding. Carrie later invites Miranda over to do a little double date with Ben and one of his friends. And Miranda really likes him until she realizes how closed-minded and smug the man is. When she clocks this, she makes up an excuse to leave that made me laugh so hard.
I have to go feed my cat.
The man then calls cat people freaks in earshot of the woman. Just downright nasty, antisocial behavior. Come on now. Be a person, chill. When Miranda says the excuse, Carrie's loud ass is like, wait, I thought you already fed your cat. Girl, I have to go feed my cat is a code word that the girls use when they want to leave the presence of annoying men. So Carrie knows this, but she's fine with her friend being uncomfortable so she can hang out with these men that she barely knows. Miranda then warns her that if Ben's friend is a freak, he is likely a freak too. Birds of a feather flock together and all that. Keeping in mind Miranda's words earlier, Carrie tries to see if she can find any red flags in Ben, but she can't find any. Aside from his weird friend, he seems like a pretty stand-up guy. Carrie continues to look for red flags in Ben while he's off at a soccer game. She looks through his fridge, his music, his books, his underwear drawer, his closet, until she finds a box which she frantically tries to pry open with a knife. Ben walks in. She explains that she was looking for something freaky. He opens a box for her and shows her his Boy Scout badge collection. He tells her that he actually skipped the soccer game so he could hang out with her. Now he has a change of mind and they go their separate ways. Turns out that Carrie was the freak in this equation. Carrie displays self-awareness when she says, "That was the day I came face to face with my freak."
The frightening woman whose fear ate her sanity.
So she knows she gets anxiously attached. Progress! So in this episode, Carrie shows carelessness towards her friend's career, but it ends up fucking with her career instead. The friends are at a salsa club. They're having such an amazing night, and for once they are all single at the same time.
Oh, Charlotte, sweetie, we're all alone, even when we're with men.
They end up making their way home at sunrise. This is just so fabulous to me. I love womanhood. So Carrie is going to be in a New York Magazine article called Single and Fabulous with 19 other Manhattanites who are, well, single and fabulous. Because she went out the last night, she's super late for her shoot the next morning because she slept in. Stanford is the one who calls her to be like, you need to get here immediately. And she's just not apologetic about it at all. And she keeps making excuses like, oh my God, I didn't leave the club until what time? As if that wasn't completely within her control. She left the club at 6 in the morning. If you're gonna leave at 6, you cannot go to sleep. You just drink several Red Bulls and keep going. Stanford's outfit here eats. Carrie's poncho is absolutely fabulous, but she is being a bad friend, so -10 fashion points. For you, Miss Bradshaw. Stanford introduces her to Nevin, the photo shoot director.
Hello. You're about a fucking month late.
She's being an absolute brat during this shoot, smoking, signaling for coffee while they're taking pictures of her. It's a mess. It's a complete and utter mess. At a later date, while buying a packet of cigarettes, Carrie witnesses herself looking disheveled, tired, and puffing on a cigarette on the cover of New York Magazine with the headline, "Single and Fabulous?" ?
Single was fun at 20, but you want to ask these women how fun will all-night club hopping be at 40?
No, I can't believe that Carrie thought that being unprofessional at this shoot wouldn't have any blowback on her career, but this is diabolical. Nobody deserves this. To frame that the article is gonna be this one thing and then to just embarrass her. Girl, that's grounds for like suing over defamation. She didn't commit a crime. The women say fuck the article, and Miranda mentions how every few years there'll be an article like this to scare young women into marriage. That's right, New York Magazine. Miranda is not falling for your propaganda. And honestly, thank God for people like Shanti Joseph, who wrote the "Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now" article. While you may not agree with the sentiment, I like that we are seeing writings that force young women into taking long, hard looks at their relationships and thinking whether they're actually being treated with the respect that they are giving their partners, because everybody deserves to be treated with respect. Hello. Yay for informed decision making, right? Because a lot of the time you don't know that you can make decisions for yourself until you're told. I find it so funny, weird, not haha, that they took Carrie's shittiness on the shoot and they could have written about anything, but they chose to write about this. Instead of shaming her for her bad behavior, they shame her for being single. They blamed her bad behavior on her marital status. It turns out that this article got to all of the women, and they all call various men in their lives to try to fill whatever hole that the article reminded them was there. Oh, not that kind of hole. The gap in their soul. In their soul. Carrie's article question in this episode is it better to fake it than to be alone? I'm sure by my thoughts already in this episode, you can tell my answer to that question. I think it's much better to be alone. I think everybody is well and truly capable of sustaining themselves, and I personally feel that a relationship will not make you whole. And that's not to say that you cannot work on yourself while in a relationship, but to get into a relationship for that specific purpose, yes, it might help for a little bit, but to get into a relationship out of fear of being single, I just personally don't think any good can come out of that. Carrie has this realization that she has been faking being happy single because she's not. She hates it. She decides to go out that night with Stanford, and Stanford brings his new boyfriend, Nevin, who was a shoot director from earlier. Carrie clearly does not like this man, and she makes a joke about Stanford dumping him. Girl, come on. Nevin also apologizes for the cover, whereas Carrie never gave any semblance of an apology for, being disruptive and being late and unprofessional at the shoot. Not that sorry fixes what they did with that magazine cover. In fact, I think she should sue. Carrie is going off with people in the club after she spilled their drink on them. It's 2 a.m. on a weekday, and Carrie is refusing to leave the club because she wants to meet cute boys. All of a sudden, Bradley Cooper emerges from the crowd and lights a cigarette for her. They annoy other club goers, they go for a joyride in his Porsche, and then he goes on to buy a pack of cigarettes on their way home, and he disuse her.
Is this you?
She goes home. Bitch, is this Mr. We're all minorities, we're in Glee Club? Carrie's outfit here is so lovely. Fantastic. Carrie sits alone at the end of the episode, and it seems at this point that she has come to terms with being unashamedly alone in public. Does that mean that she's finally okay with being single? Not necessarily, but that is a big step. Woo! I wonder if she's also come to the realization that she tends to be shitty towards people when she is overwhelmed, because she's shown that several times in this episode. Honestly, even towards Big. So far, we've only seen her share her most honest opinions with him when she has reached her fucking limit, when she is enraged. Once she's decided that something he did or said has made her feel bad, she stews and she stews and she stews until one day he'll not be doing anything bad in particular, but she'll finally share her feelings angrily, loud, boldly, as she should. It's Big. Sorry, I don't give a fuck about that. I hate this man. I don't give a fuck about this man. Sorry. But I do feel like a lot of her anger stems from ignoring her feelings due to prioritizing Biggs, and then resenting him for not changing when she constantly lets the issue slide. Will she gain self-awareness concerning these issues? I guess we'll see. In this episode, Miranda displays some behaviors, some actions that I think would benefit Carrie a lot. Namely, and this is gonna sound mean, but working on self-esteem. I am so sorry. She needs to stand up. I'm really not trying to compare these women to any negative effect. I genuinely believe that if Carrie did take some tips from Miranda, some tips with the way that she lives her life, she would genuinely live a less stressful and happier life, especially when it comes to her sense of self and how she views herself in relationships. It's fine that she doesn't. We all make mistakes, especially in relationships, but I simply cannot watch the train wreck and be silent. Javier, a famed New York fashion designer, has recently passed, and the women are attending his funeral. Sam is dressed like she's going to the Hamptons, but it turns out everybody kind of had a similar idea. They're all wearing his latest spring line before he passed. The funeral really makes Carrie think of just how much time she has left, all the things she wants to do and is yet to, and she decides to call Big. She asked him out for dinner and they set a date. So Miranda has bought her first apartment. It is big, it's beautiful, and her real estate agent is casually trying to insert herself in Miranda's love life. While signing the document, she gets asked whether her father will be putting the down payment for the house, as if she's not a fully grown woman. A conversation around this with the girls reveals that Charlotte thinks all women need a man, and being a homeowner as a woman is emasculating to men. Over with Miranda in her new apartment, we have more nosy people being baffled by the fact that a single grown woman is living in an apartment by herself. She's eating later when she chokes on a piece of food and frantically gives herself the Heimlich maneuver to get it out of her throat. This really scares her and she calls Carrie in a panic, talking about, "Oh my god, I'm so scared, I'm going to die alone." Oh my goodness. See how a non-issue has become a problem? See how this amazing time of her life, this achievement that she should be so proud of, she should be celebrating, has become a source of sadness, a source of disappointment for her. Because everybody around her is talking about how she should be feeling unfulfilled because she doesn't have a man with her. The people talking to her earlier must have really gotten to her head because her simply having to dislodge something from her throat made her realize, maybe I do need a man. Huh. Miranda has a panic attack and is sent to the hospital, and Carrie's with her and she's crying to her about how she hates that she's alone and she's scared that she's gonna be this way forever. This is like really one of the first times I've heard Miranda share these sentiments. She's a very, very self-sufficient woman, and I don't think that all these outside voices should scare her into thinking that she needs a man who she doesn't even know yet. Like, you're crying over a man who you don't know. Textbook example of peer pressure. Be nice. People make the decisions they want to make. God, this is an achievement. What the hell? Why are you coming in with all this negative energy? Carrie gives her some encouraging, great advice, telling her that she's done an amazing thing all by herself and that she won't be alone forever. Low-key, I feel like even if you are alone forever, even if you don't get married, even if you are dating, like, you date, you have friends, you have family. There's worse things in life than not getting married. I feel so sad that this was completely avoidable. It is just random people telling her all these things that she like genuinely doesn't need to hear. She is fine. She's more than fine, clearly.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
Miranda decides, fuck all the noise. I have an amazing apartment. Doesn't mean that I'll die alone, because she knows that there are men out there who do not get emasculated because the women they're dating are, you know, more financially successful than they are. A+ for self-assurance. Miranda lives in reality and I love it. The thought of having to dull yourself down just so your future husband, who for some reason hates this successful part of your identity, just so he doesn't feel emasculated, is crazy to me. It's so much easier to go where you are loved, where you're appreciated. And it's great to see that that's what Miranda's doing. On to the next. I always say, I am a leaver. I'm a leaver. Oh my God, I will leave. Treat me with respect, just like I treat you, just like I treat myself. Respect all around. Is that too much to ask? So Big has been calling Carrie and she hasn't been picking up. So he shows up to her house, which she's over the moon about, of course. Big wants to hook up, but Carrie is finally cognizant of the fact that getting back with Big is probably not the best idea. She doesn't ask him to leave though. She's like, let's go bowling. All of a sudden, Carrie's in bed with Big. That dopamine hit ain't gonna last long, baby. It's all fun and games until all the reasons you have for breaking up with him come back up to the surface. When I look at how Carrie moves, and when I look at how Miranda moves, Miranda to me moves with a lot more purpose, with a lot more self-assurance, thinking about, okay, how is this going to pan out? Is this a good idea? Just constantly having these thoughts. Now that Carrie's back with Big, she officially begins the first stage of grief, denial. So Carrie's embarrassed because she's back with Big and she doesn't tell her friends. What she does do is cancel on them to go hang out with him. It seems that she gains self-awareness when her friends call her out, but that doesn't last very long. Charlotte has a showing at her gallery. She's invited all her friends to see, and Carrie decides to leave early because of an alleged headache. Lies and deceit. She is off to see Big. Carrie is very well aware that Big is emotionally unavailable. She even mentions it in this episode. She knows that what she's doing isn't good for her, but it feels good in the moment. So she refuses to find the strength to cut it off with him. Later on, Charlotte discovers the guy she's seeing swallowing the face of another woman. And the guy says something like, "What? We're just kissing," and goes right back to locking lips with her. The audacity of man. Carrie says maybe he doesn't consider it cheating. Says a girl who crashes out anytime she sees Big with another woman, by the way. Sam says, come on, it was only your second date. He has no allegiance to you. Let it go. To be fair, it was only their second date, but I don't care if it was their first. It is just common courtesy not to kiss somebody while you're on a date with somebody else. Like, what is going on? Decorum, find it. Carrie's column question of the day is, what constitutes cheating? Sam's opinion on this is so hilarious. She says, men cheat because they can. It's part of their biology. Just accept the facts instead of condemning them. Oh my god. One thing Samantha is going to do is accept the bare minimum. What do you mean is part of their biology, girl? You just made that up. No. What she meant to say is that they are socialized to view women as subservient and having different roles biologically. Okay. Before you press on in that paragraph, here are some examples with statistics. Men are not more biologically inclined to cheat on women. Some of them just see us as unequal and oftentimes don't see what they're doing as wrong because they don't believe that women deserve the same level of respect that they do. Think about incels, think about weaponized incompetence, think about the rate at which men leave their sick wives, think about the rising femicide rates, the idea that boys will be boys or men will be men. However you want to say it, it is infantilizing. A lot of them get away with so much because we refuse to hold them accountable. We chalk up their bad behavior to them not being able to help it. And that's just stupid. I'm so sorry, that's so stupid, and it not only harms us as women, but it harms them too. Hashtag male loneliness epidemic. A lot of what I've gotten from Samantha so far is insecurity and male obsession. For a woman who does have a lot of confident traits, she harbors a lot of internalized misogyny, and that eventually turns into insecurity. It's like what men think about her is the driving force of her life. I'm disappointed that more hasn't been done with her character so far, and once again, yes, I acknowledge this was made in a different time. But it's not 1999 anymore, and I have thoughts, and I want to share them. Fuck. Sam needs to relax. Carrie reminds Sam that women cheat too. Yes! I'm kidding. And Charlotte, pick me number 3, chimes in and says, "It's different when women do it. We don't do it aggressively. We are driven by emotions. Bear it in mind, emotions drive every single person on this planet." Anyways, cheating for me comes down to a complete and utter lack of respect. Cheating back, on the other hand, I can turn a blind eye. In fact, I encourage it. Oh, who said that? Who said that? I learned that an ex had been talking to another woman for the entirety of our relationship, and trust when I say that I made him pay for his crimes, but looking back, like, I really wish I did what he did back to me, because it is clear that he did not understand how it made me feel. Because he thought he was different to me, as if I deserved a lower level of respect. But you know, it's immature or whatever, but God, that would have felt so cathartic. The friends can't come to an agreement on what constitutes cheating and whether it's okay. Carrie mentions a cheating curve, which to her means that someone's definition of what they constitute as cheating is directly proportional to how much they want to cheat. So as what someone would consider cheating goes more broad and broad and broad, their likelihood to cheat also becomes larger and larger. If the tree is adulterous in the forest and nobody's around to see it, was the tree really adulterous? So many important questions to be answered. Oh my God, Samantha, give me the answers! Charlotte's on the phone to this man, making excuses as to why he did stuff with the other woman, and he's like, "It doesn't matter. You're the one I want to sleep with." Are you mad? Charlotte hangs up. She's later at the gallery and she meets 2 extremely successful, wealthy businesswomen who invite her over for some drinks later. They go to dinner, drinks, a women's only club. Charlotte felt liberated, exhilarated, because maybe for the first time ever, she had a fun night without the mention of men. She's discovering a whole new world. She's discovering a whole new world and realizing that you can in fact be fulfilled without centering men in your life. She feels like new life has been breathed into her with this new group of friends.
They're cool and they buy art and their lives aren't complicated by men.
Carrie's at Big's place and she informs him that none of her friends know that they're dating again. And she's not exactly sure why she's keeping this a secret. I think it's because she's ashamed that she has gone back again to the man who has hurt her multiple times. But she doesn't want to admit that to her friends yet, and maybe even herself. On her way home from Big's place the next morning, she runs into Miranda, who's curious as to why Carrie is there so early in the morning, but she claims that she's off to the dentist and quickly changes the conversation to Ethan, the porn addict that Miranda's seeing. She tells Carrie it was humiliating having this guy tell her to move her head out of the way so he could watch porn while they were having sex. She almost feels like she's being cheated on. Carrie, of course, makes excuses for this man she doesn't even know, saying, well, maybe it's just a force of habit. Eventually, she does concede to the fact that Miranda deserves his undivided attention because that's what makes her comfortable. Easy. Miranda then gets to the point of giving this man an ultimatum, me or the porn. He chooses the porn. They go their separate ways. Samantha and Carrie are having this bonding moment where Sam is the one who has to take out Carrie's contraceptive diaphragm. The women are off to see a movie when Miranda has a realization. Carrie hasn't told them that she's been sleeping with anybody recently, so why is she using contraceptives? Obviously, there's many other reasons to use contraceptives. For example, I'm anemic, I take the pill, it helps reduce my blood flow by far and reduces the pain that I go through every goddamn month. But the show doesn't acknowledge these reasons, of course. Different time. Whatever. Carrie finally reveals that it's Big that she's been sleeping with. And the women are all shocked and disappointed. Rightfully so.
Carrie, he was such an asshole to you. Really?
At the end of the day, you can't tell anybody who to date, but you have every right to be disappointed if the person that they're dating and consistently taking back is a colossal piece of shit. You know, Sam asks the $1 million question.
What makes you think it's gonna be any different this time?
They try to talk some sense into her and Carrie says, oh, we just have this magical connection. I can't shake it off. She gets pissed at them and then she goes back home. She paces her apartment as she realizes maybe her friends are right. She comes to her senses and thinks, having this casual relationship with Big after their past issues have never been addressed is a bad idea. Big, quote, for the first time ever, takes Carrie out dancing that night. And she feels like she's living in a fairy tale, but she knows she has to be strong and get clarity as to where this relationship is going. It's funny because she knows where she wants it to go, but she's letting Big take the lead. She's letting him take charge and go only and exactly at the pace he wants to. Guys, this scene is worse than any horror film that I've seen.
So does this mean we're seeing each other again? Officially?
If you say so.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Are you okay? I'm impressed by the sheer commitment Big has to never validating Carrie. Or if he does, he has to take a long ass, annoying ass process till he does. He is so diabolical, and Carrie is a little infuriated at this response and tells him just that. At his big age of 40-something, he tells Carrie that he doesn't know what officially means. My question is, why would you fight for a man that views his relationship with you this way? What are you fighting for? You're fighting for fighting. You're fighting to continue to fight. Like, there's no point. You're fighting to fight. What's the point? I just don't understand the prospect of fighting for a life with a partner when you're not sure that your partner truly wants you. And of course, you can't read people's minds. That's something you can never, ever be 100% sure of. But at least get somebody who validates you the way you need. That way, if you get hurt, you know at least, okay, y'all communicated properly. You know, that's just what I'm thinking. The bar is in hell, and that's exactly where Big will be once I get my hands on his fictional ass. Oh, if only, just a little, ooh. Big loves to speak in riddles, and this solidifies in my mind that he is playing games with Carrie. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's feigning ignorance. He's just having fun with her, knowing how much she likes him. Although it does seem like Carrie loves the idea of Big and not Big himself, because from what I'm seeing, the energy that she's putting in, it just doesn't match up to the way that Big is with her. Like, I really just don't get it. So it does seem like she's living in a bit of a fantasy world. Princess syndrome, like we talked about in my last video. She asks him why they broke up. And he says, you broke up with me, you should be the one answering that question. To refresh your memory in last season's finale, before they were supposed to head off to the Caribbean, Carrie asked him if she was the one, and he just didn't respond, so she broke up with him. Carrie's honest with him in the present moment and says, you didn't say what I wanted to hear. Although she does have another reason which she doesn't say to him out loud. I was afraid that he could never love me the way that I wanted to be loved. And that is such a valid reason for breaking up with somebody. To me, it doesn't seem like time has changed anything with Big. So she's kind of just back in the same situation, hoping things will change, and I really don't see them changing. She goes on to say that she's afraid that he doesn't have the capacity to love anybody but himself, and that given the chance, he would break her heart again. Guys, I love this self-aware version of Carrie. Where has she been hiding? She's clearly done some growth since her breakup. I just wish she could see herself as somebody deserving of love, somebody who doesn't have to beg for it from someone who's shown signs that they do not feel that way multiple times. Listen, I find Carrie annoying as shit, but I know that there is somebody in Manhattan that would love her crazy ass, you know? Guys, Big is a comedian.
I can tell you one thing. I sure did miss you. Officially.
The way I bust out laughing when I heard that. This man is playing in her face and she's shining all 32 at him. How peculiar. And then she says, and I quote, "And there it was. I guess we were back together. Officially." Carrie, he never said anything of the sort. He never said anything of the sort. Carrie. She's back with him. And at the point of writing this script on the 20th of December at 11:53 a.m., having never seen the season before, I am making a prediction that in a few episodes' time, Carrie's going to find Big with another woman, and the cycle we saw last season is going to repeat itself. And I was right, by the way. In this episode, Carrie is still in denial when she notices that she and Big may be repeating the same patterns from before. So Carrie and Big have been seeing each other for a while now, and she's become a frequent guest at his place. And this man goes into a whole song and dance while pulling out a pink toothbrush head out of a case to replace his electric toothbrush so she can brush her teeth. Granted, the pink is cute, but Carrie's reaction made me laugh out loud.
There's only one pink brush head, and Big was giving his to me. It was the single most encouraging moment so far in our relationship.
First of all, you don't know that there was only one pink toothbrush head for a fact. Also, what if that means he just has spare toothbrush heads ready to go? And lastly, the fact that he has a spare toothbrush head could mean absolutely nothing. I just hate that she could be setting herself up for disappointment here, because to me at least, Big is showing no significant signs that his feelings towards Carrie have changed since last season, especially considering the words that came directly out of his mouth when she asked about his feelings for her.
If you say so.
I just hope she's not investing as much emotionally into Big as she did the last time. I don't think that would be wise. In this episode, Miranda's decorating her new apartment, mostly thanks to Charlotte's interior designer friend, Madeline. Her journalist friend, Jeremy, lives in London and is coming to New York to find work, and Miranda suggested that he stays with her. On her couch, of course, but she does have a little crush on him, so she hopes that things go further. Once he arrives, they're cozied up on the couch, sharing a bottle of wine before they go out to dinner. He tells her that he is tired of dating, he wants to get married, he wants to settle down, and she loves this. At one point, she busts out laughing at this horrible joke that he makes. She walks so Zendaya could run. Yeah. So Madeline shows up with a new piece for her apartment, and immediately sparks fly between her and Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Madeline Dunn.
Pleasure.
Jeremy then invites her to their dinner, and the whole time Miranda finds herself third-wheeling their date. They completely ignore her the whole time, and Jeremy just suggests Miranda goes back home.
Did you want to go? Well, I can find my way back.
Or Miranda, and it's like, what can you do? You let this man crash at your apartment. Kicking him out over this would be so petty. But to be fair, if I were in this position and I had a crush on someone and I saw them have a meet cute at my home and was acting all lovey-dovey around my place, like, it wouldn't feel right. It would obviously make me upset, but it's like, there's nothing you can do. You let him stay. This is a grown man. He can date who he wants to date. A week later though, Jeremy is off and Miranda, still crushing on him heavy, throws a going away party for him. And he's like, clink clink, speech time. Thank you, Miranda, my dear friend, for hosting me and throwing me this party. But most importantly, introducing me to my fiance. Yes, he asked Madeline to marry him within a week of knowing her. Each to their own, but Miranda is horrified. The four women are soon outside and Miranda is getting her feelings out. She's really ready to get married at this point, and the whole thing has just made her really upset. Miranda asks herself why she isn't good enough. Why her and not me? The fact that she's obsessing over somebody who doesn't want her makes me so sad. There's 8 billion people in this world and you're stuck on someone who won't give you time of day. But not only that, but she's now questioning her worth, her identity, simply because this man did not have romantic feelings for her. She's whittling down the various reasons for incompatibility to, it's my fault that he doesn't want me. What's wrong with me? It's getting weird. It's getting weird. No, that is perfectly normal behavior, but it just makes me very sad. Know your worth. I get wanting to rant to your girls when there are unrequited feelings, but to settle with I must not be good enough as a conclusion to a situation like this is bonkers. It's simply not true. She's worth so much more than that. Men are not in short supply. Please, Miranda. The girls find themselves how the hell people even get engaged within a week. Charlotte thinks it's love at first sight. To Sam, it's straight up lust. That night, Carrie calls Big to pick his brain about the 1-week proposal that she witnessed earlier.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
He's not shocked by this idea. He believes in lust at first sight though. And Carrie thinks he's joking at first, but this is another thing that just shows me their ideas on relationships are probably too different for them to work out long term. Carrie starts to wonder, in a city as cynical as New York, is it still possible to believe in love at first sight? Now, as Carrie's helping Madeline plan for her wedding, she asks Carrie if she would write a romantic poem and perform it at the wedding. And she agrees, but over lunch with her friends later, she regrets saying yes to this. Not related at all, but their hair here just looks so chic. The key hairstylists for this episode were Michelle Johnson and Sasha Carls, both of whom were nominated for Outstanding Hairstylist 2 years in a row for this show. And it shows because look at the material. Carls mentioned to Vogue that before the scenes, SJP would run her hands through her hair to get it going. I love how much effort was put into Carrie's look, coming across as carefree and natural. They wanted to make the protagonist feel relatable to the average middle-aged white woman. No shade, that is the target audience of the show. Regardless of whether you're messy, clean, rich, broke, have an extensive collection of shoes and clothes, or like to date weird men, you can relate too. Charlotte passionately tells the group about the bridesmaid's dress that she chose, opting for once to go for a sexy dress, although she's nervous that she might be doing a little bit too much.
This time, people are gonna look at me.
So Carrie's off to the wedding with Big as her +1, and he gets really standoffish when she asks him to sign his name on the card, but she quickly gets uncomfortable with it and she lets it go. The black dress that Charlotte was losing her marbles over turns out to be this gorgeous backless Anna Molinari dress, and it was very much worth the hype. Her groomsman partner Martin approaches her to take her to the wedding party, and it is love at first sight.
Charlotte, can I have the salad dressing?
I want 3 or 4 kids too.
They end up hooking up at the wedding, and he introduces her to his parents pretty much right after. Right on schedule, according to Carrie. It's time for wedding speeches.
I have known Jeremy a long time. And,
Which is more than the bride could say.
I am very...
Oh dear. So Carrie's speech is up next, and as she recites her poem, Big leaves to take a call. Carrie's heart breaks a little as she faces the happy couple, while dealing with this man who didn't even want to be on a wedding card with her. Carrie storms off to get a drink when Big doesn't want to dance with her.
It's not important to him. Nothing is important to him.
Charlotte's dancing with her potential father-in-law when his crypt keeper ass gropes her. She tells Martin straight away he doesn't believe her and he insults her, calling her slutty. I really love this character arc that's occurring with Charlotte. As someone who falls into love, lust, whatever you want to call it, really quickly, I love that once something makes her uncomfortable or once a man shows that he doesn't fit into the standards or honestly just straight up doesn't respect her, she leaves. The bride does the wedding toss. Nobody reaches for it. And then Big wants to leave the wedding, but Carrie doesn't yet, and this turns into an argument over the wedding card.
I'm afraid we don't want the same things.
He calmly agrees to go back with her.
I'll stay.
You will?
Carrie is still in denial as she views the crumbs that Big gives her as a 6-course meal, and thus gaslights herself into thinking that her and Big's relationship has changed. Although this denial does turn into anger towards the end of the episode. Carrie and Big are on a date when he refers to her as his girlfriend for the first time. She's of course over the moon, and he gets up to sing a song that he dedicated to her.
It was perfect. I felt like I was in heaven.
Miranda's on a date with this guy called Alan, and they are two pessimists that are too cool for school. Later on, she's at this stand-up show by herself, and the comedian bullies her into answering one of Alan's phone calls. Alan's wife picks up. He was cheating on her, which she's now finding out in front of everybody. And the comedian embarrasses her in front of everybody, and thankfully she immediately leaves this hilariously unfunny group of people. What the hell? What happened to decorum? What happened to home training? At lunch later, Miranda wonders why she just believed the man when he said he was divorced.
He tells me how much he likes me, and boom, I believe him. Am I that needy?
Girl, we all make mistakes. The good thing is that she left. The women tag team against Charlotte when she insists that Alan could have liked Miranda and tells them stories of friends whose boyfriends royally fuck up and then magically change one day and they live happily ever after. The other women chalk them up to being urban myths to make women stay with their shitty men. And Sherry uses Carrie's relationship as an example. Big used to treat her like shit, but now he doesn't. All I can think of is it's only a matter of time until he fucks up again. Like, Carrie's relationship is not the best example here. They've only been together for a little bit. Like, girl, that's no evidence that he has changed for good. And Carrie can't even explain to Miranda exactly how her and Big's relationship is different now.
It's just a feeling. I don't know, something's shifted.
Sam and Miranda are pessimistic towards the allegedly new and improved Hashtag Barry. And while this could be seen as her friends not supporting her, bear it in mind that they have had to pick up the pieces every single time that Big has hurt her. Carrie gets to writing about the idea of using myths as a way to cope with the misery of life. She wonders whether her and Big's relationship is still in a cesspool and she's making up her own myths to cope.
Are we willing to believe anything to date?
Jump scare. Whoa, whoa. Carrie later asks Big to hang out with her friends and her so they can all become better acquainted. And he says yes immediately. She wonders why he's so agreeable all of a sudden. She gets a call from Miranda and Carrie has to explain why she didn't make a hangout that they had planned earlier. Miranda is understandably pissed and Carrie is shining her teeth telling her, "Oh, I left you a message on the answering machine telling you that Big got his veal and I just had to come over."
So you just dropped your life and ran right on over to his?
She tells Carrie that her relationship with Big has not changed at all. It is still all about him. So while Miranda realizes that she has officially been stood up by her friend at the bar, she gets to talking with the bartender, Steve. They get to flirting and they go back to her place that night. At a later date, Carrie shows up to Big's for the dinner that they were planning with her friends, looking immaculate. But Big doesn't want to go anymore because he's tired and it's gonna rain, and for some reason he only thought it was important to tell her when she got there. As her heels clack on the wet concrete on her way to dinner, Carrie thinks, "I've never heard of an urban myth in which a self-centered 42-year-old baby magically transformed into a grown man. Could this be her karma for constantly canceling on her friends to go hang out with Big?" Carrie can't even bring herself to tell her friends the reason for Big's no-show. So Miranda invited Steve to the girls' drinks, and Steve tries to get Miranda to understand that he genuinely likes and wants to get to know her, but she knows men, she knows they ain't shit. And this is when Big shows up, and he's very chirpy. He genuinely wants to get to know Carrie's friends. This makes Miranda think, maybe men ain't that bad. Maybe they ain't shit. Maybe they are shit. Huh. She chases Steve in the rain and they make out. Thus, the urban myth of the one-night stand that turned into a relationship was created. This still hasn't convinced me that Big has changed. He still upset her for no reason when he canceled last minute. Showing up eventually doesn't cancel that out. I guess some could say that maybe he's learning, he's changing, because he realizes if he wants Carrie in his life, he has to do better. I'm not convinced. Carrie realizes that Big is indeed still the same old Big, and she crashes out. The episode starts strong with Big checking out another woman while on a date with Carrie. Sam tells her that this isn't a real problem. It can't be stopped. It's in their DNA. This? Again? The way they see it as such a task for a grown-ass man to keep his eyes and head straight while in a committed relationship is wild to me. Sam warns Carrie to not try to change men because it could ruin the relationship. Okay. If the only option is to swallow your discomfort and the disrespect and stay in the relationship, I fear it was already ruined. Don't try to change men should translate to leave him, not stay and be quiet. The fuck? So Big and Carrie are on a date that night and he, once again, checks out another woman. He also does a pretty funny bit where the waitress asks him to put his cigar out, but this annoys Carrie.
Excuse me, this is my last day on Earth. I'm being executed tomorrow morning. That's my parole officer there. Would you mind terribly if I smoke this?
She wonders whether their honeymoon period is over as he glances at yet another woman. His behavior inspires her next column. Can you change a man? So Miranda and Steve are official now, but they're having issues over their conflicting schedules. Even on the weekend, she ends up laying with him in bed on her free day, but then she regrets it, leading to a bit of resentment. The woman later questioned why it's the woman that always has to change in relationships. Carrie's supposed to meet Big later. He shows up late. She goes off at him, and she tells him if they ever stayed at hers or he gave her a key to his place, then they wouldn't have these issues. Is that true? I don't know about that logic. Anyways, this tiff leads to nowhere and she ends up going to his. And in the middle of the night, he pushes her off the bed accidentally, of course, and she punches him in the face. Oh my god, Carrie, it's time to, oh my god, girl, just go. He low-key talks to her like a dog and then storms off to sleep on the couch. She is apologetic to him later and tells him that she doesn't like that he looks at other women, and it's like he refuses to make space for her in his life. He doesn't address anything he says in typical Big fashion, and she leaves happy because at least she got it out. Over with Miranda and Steve, she's going off at him because he slept off after work, some of her only free time. They end up breaking up and he calls her later and they get back together. After not talking for a bit, Big shows up at Carrie's door, tells her that he's crazy about her, agrees to give her a key, and he stays over at hers for the first time. Now, Carrie is satisfied with the fact that even if changing things about a man is hard, at least they're communicating about the things that they don't particularly love about each other at the moment. No offense, I'm still not convinced. How long can this good behavior last when it only happens in response to Carrie's crash outs? I feel like, if anything, he's just gonna stop looking at women while he's with her, but when he's alone, I don't believe for a second that he's not scanning the streets of Manhattan looking for a beautiful woman to ogle at. A shitty man is not a project. He knows what he's doing and he's not gonna stop, I think. And I'm willing to bet on that. Carrie learns that some of Big behaviors still trigger her insecurities, so she goes off at Big. Again. Carrie has officially fallen in love with Big. In fact, she almost says it to him a few times, but she finally gets it out when he gives her this bedazzled duck purse, which she hates, by the way. The bar is in hell.
I love you.
He says, "You're welcome," in response. What the fuck? I love you. You're welcome. Yes. Oh my god. I would actually crawl into a hole. I would crawl into a hole and not come out for at least 130 business days. At least! The girls are having another lunch date where Carrie is solely talking about Big. The girls are surprised when Miranda is for once optimistic about love, telling her that maybe Big didn't respond to her "I love you" because he hasn't found the perfect way to say it yet. Wow, that is such a Charlotte line. Okay, Miranda, I see you in love. Aw. But let's remember who we're talking about. We're talking about Big. Bigums. Miranda feels guilty for taking Steve to her regular spots, which she assumes he can't afford, so she makes sure they only go to cheaper places to hang out. She's doing this to avoid him being embarrassed, but he is a grown-ass man. I feel like if he wants to take her somewhere fancy, let him. He knows who he's dating. He knew before he took her out that she was a successful lawyer. She's used to a certain lifestyle. He knew. If he wants to, let him. That's not your husband. You do not need to be concerned about his finances yet, girl. Come on now. Come on. She later invites him to an event, but the only suit he has is not exactly cute.
That evening, Miranda experienced her first pangs of yuppie guilt.
I learned a new word. Yuppie. A yuppie is a young college-educated adult who is employed in a well-paying profession and who lives and works in or near a large city. Accurate. Over many petties, the girls discuss, well, being a yuppie and dating someone who isn't as financially abundant and therefore lives a different life to them. Here are some quotes from the women to illustrate their thoughts about the topic. So Charlotte says, "A lot of wonderful artists worked as bartenders for years. Doesn't mean he won't be making money someday." Miranda responds by saying Steve's not an artist and he's happy being a bartender. That's what he wants to do with his life and he's perfectly happy doing that. Sam says, "I know a lot of women who make way more money than their husbands." Carrie says, "Rich men date not so rich women all the time. Look at me and Big. It's not about money, it's about compatibility." Carrie once again being unable to maintain a conversation without mentioning Big. Guys, I'm sick!
None of this matters to me. I just don't want it to matter to him.
She also says, when single men have a lot of money, it works to their advantage. But when a single woman has money, it's a problem you have to deal with. Considering that she hasn't actually had a conversation with him about it yet, I don't think it can be classified as a problem just yet. Like, you're assuming he has a problem. Yes, she obviously makes more money than him, but that's a discussion that should be had before stressing out about it, I think. It's now 2 days after Carrie said the 3 magic words to Big. They're on a date and he still has not said it back yet. Miranda takes Steve shopping for a suit and refuses when she tells him that the $1,800 suit is her treat. He doesn't want his girlfriend to become his mother. At least he knows and he's communicating that with her, even though it was worded really weirdly. I get that he wants to be able to buy the suit himself, but also she brought you here to buy a gift. If she wants to buy you a gift, if you can see that this will make her happy, surely just let her. But I understand how this could become an issue for both of them. So he ends up paying for it, having to split the payment 3 ways. At a bougie party that Carrie accompanied Big to, she sees all the women with their bejeweled purses and realizes realized that Big put no thought into the bird purse that he gifted her a couple days back. The one that triggered her "I love you." And it felt to her that Big didn't truly know her. Cause why are you getting me this purse that everybody has? What the frick? Side note, Carrie is not dressed to the black tie code, but she looks stunning in this Jean Paul Gaultier spring summer joggers? Sorry. She looks gorgeous in this Jean Paul Gaultier spring summer 96 wrap dress. Joggers. Spring summer.
Joggers.
Excuse me?
Joggers.
Carrie mocks the host, Serena, for being too uppity to hide her instability and lack of personality. Whoa, that sounds like a whole lot of projection. You don't know her. Carrie is the last person that should be judging what other women are doing. Big calls her a bitch.
Well, don't be a bitch.
I'm not being a bitch.
I hate this man so much. Why are you talking to her like that? She told you "I love you" 2 days ago and you're calling her a bitch? But maybe her and Big deserve each other because this is how she chose to react when the host simply asks her to not smoke in the house and go smoke on the balcony.
And just like that, I was cast out of the fancy party.
This guy stinks!
Also, guys, I'm sick. I didn't say that I'm sick. If I sound different nasally, that's why. I just got over some throat shit. She feels cast out by the yuppies. However, she is not in dress code and she tried to smoke inside the house. What the hell were you thinking? During her smoke break, Carrie runs into an old flirtationship / performance artist who's performing at this party, and they judge the rich people together. He shows her a tattoo near his peen, and Serena just happened to walk by at that moment, and at the angle it was at, it looked like Carrie was giving him head. So she runs away immediately to go tell Big, and it turns into a whole fight. Carrie and Big go their separate ways. Carrie ends up leaving with her flirtationship. They kiss, but they don't do anything further, and they end up sleeping in the same bed. Nasty, nasty behavior. Although Big sucks, but like, girl, just break up with him. So Big calls Carrie the next morning and finally tells her, "I love you." And he explains that it's just hard for him to say due to his past relationships. Okay, whatevs, bro. Oh, Carrie, you did a bad thing. And I would feel bad for Big. I would feel bad for him, but I cannot bring myself to believe that he has not been unfaithful to her in the past. I just do not believe that for a second. I'm so sorry. So Miranda is getting ready for the event that she's taking Steve to. He shows up and he says, "I returned the suit. I couldn't afford it. Being in the store with you made me feel bad about myself. You need to date a man your level." Fair, because it clearly wasn't gonna work out if she doesn't care that he doesn't have much money, but he does. On to the next, I guess. If her financial abundance made him feel emasculated, at the end of the day, that's his problem. There's really nothing she can do about that. On to the next. Show me the receipts. Why would Xi Jinping want to flood my basement and rust my Bowflex? To what end? To what end? So Carrie begins to bargain when Big makes it even more clear that the relationship will continue to move at his pace, on his terms. And Carrie's okay with that. For now. Miranda learns at a gyno appointment that one of her ovaries has stopped producing eggs, which scares her into lowering her standards for a split second, but she snaps out of it pretty soon. She talks out her frustrations over a meal with her friends, but the convo soon shifts to Big! Yay! Yep. So the conversation shifts to Big and the fact that Carrie still has to take a spend the night bag to Big's place whenever she goes because he doesn't let her leave her stuff over. She explains that it's because Big doesn't like stuff. Big is clearly he moves in his relationship with Carrie with such caution due to his past relationships, as he said, due to being hurt in his past relationships. Girl, it just sounds to me that he's not ready for a relationship yet. Or he's just not ready for a relationship with Carrie. He clearly doesn't make him feel secure enough to be freely and effortlessly loving with her. And vice versa with Carrie. So they should just fucking split. Make like Pangea and split, please. Wait, I kind of ate that, guys. I just watched the new dinosaur documentary on Netflix. Incredible. So Pangea is heavy on my mind. Miss you, Big P. What the fuck? Carrie is just too go with the flow. Big is really strict when it comes to Carrie. And if she's not a strict dater, Big is going to continue to drag her around like he's been doing for the past 2 seasons and do little not so bad things that she has to adjust to, and over time resentment's gonna build. Big is such a huge trigger of her anxious attachment style. Everybody, including Big, including Carrie, can see it. In fact, he's already learned not to tell her certain things because he knows how she's gonna react, and that's only to both their detriment because he ends up telling her eventually and it just makes her reaction worse. What a mess, what a mess. The next day, Carrie begins to discreetly leave her stuff in his bathroom one by one. And she later tells the ladies about how she's been starting to mark her territory at his place, including dropping a deuce in his toilet for the first time. After over a year of dating is fucking wild. But anyways, Charlotte sees this as the end of romance. Dropping a deuce, I mean. She's never taken a number 2 at a boyfriend's house. You'll open one hole, but not the other. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Why do we discriminate? Equality for all holes. The women look too good, so let's get into their outfits. Carrie is wearing this gorgeous gray Indian silk woven fabric halter with a matching Fendi baguette and what looks like a mustard colored lehenga. Charlotte dons this deep red flopped midi dress. This is so mesmerizing. Miranda is wearing this multicolored sleeveless dress made with a vibrant Kashmiri print fabric. There is so much Indian fashion on this show. And Samantha is wearing a pink floral satin slip dress paired with a lilac purse. And pink and purple is one of my favorite combos, so I'm obsessed immediately. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find the details for these pieces, but I love them. If you know, if these look familiar to you, please let me know. Share it with the audience. It would be much appreciated. Thank you. So Big goes off to Carrie's later and he drops everything that she left in his bathroom off in a little tote bag. She reveals to him she left the stuff there on purpose to avoid having to lug a heavy spend-a-night bag around, and he doesn't like it. She even tries to compromise and ask him what he wants. He can leave his stuff at hers and stay over more often. But Big says he's happy exactly where they are.
I have my place, you have yours. We're together when we want to be, and we're apart when we want to be.
Carrie then wonders if her view of a relationship is extinct. Are New Yorkers evolving past relationships? So Carrie starts packing her stuff to leave after a night at Big's, and she finds a photo of the two of them in his bathroom cupboard.
And suddenly I realized I didn't have to worry about leaving something behind because I was there.
Note that nothing has changed. All he did was print out a black and white photo of them, and Carrie sees this as the issue being solved. And it's inevitable that it's going to come back around. The black and white photo does not solve the issue. You're still carrying around this spend the night bag. But she keeps doing this. Carrie wants to leave stuff there for convenience. Like she says here one morning, I have to go home and wash and blow dry my hair. And he really wants her to stay. And she would have been able to if he just let her keep a spare hairdryer at his place, but he doesn't want to do that. Now they're both uncomfortable. For what? Because Big is scared? He doesn't like stuff because of his past relationships? Sure. I see this as one little shift. You love her allegedly. All you need to do is shift one thing. One little cupboard in his humongous apartment is so much to ask. I understand sometimes it is the principle of things, it's the meaning behind it, and not necessarily what you're doing physically. But Big's just a fucking fat idiot. I'm sorry. I cannot justify these actions. If it were anybody else, maybe. Big, no. This issue, as small as it is, has not gone away. But she's once again inhaling these crumbs like it's a 5-star meal, like she's at a Michelin star restaurant.
It was a small step for mankind, but it was a really big step for Big.
What about you? Oh, I can't handle this. All I see is future resentment that is going to build because she used to be so content with the crumbs. But crumbs cannot sustain a long-term relationship, unfortunately. Carrie goes from bargaining to depression in this episode. At the end of it, she finally realizes her and Big are not going to work out. The ladies are at an S&M dinner that Sam is doing PR for. As Carrie's about to leave, Sam gives her a top hat and a paddle so she can give Big a show. And this is where the meme was born. And to be fair, Big is into it, but I don't think I'll ever not feel cringed the fuck out at this scene, but Go girl, she knows what her man likes and she's gonna do it. Although the high spirits do not last for long because Big tells her that he may have to move to Paris soon for work. Nothing is definite and it would only be a year, but Big didn't feel like he had to tell Carrie anything yet. Carrie's upset because she feels like he didn't consider her at all while he was making this decision. I see both sides in this situation. Knowing how Carrie is, I'm sure the thought crossed Big's mind that being in separate countries isn't something that Carrie would be happy with. He knows her. But on the other hand, and this is one thing I will give men, is that they will put their career over anybody. Honestly, Carrie needs to follow suit. In my opinion, and maybe I'm super biased because of the way that I was raised, but like, if you need to move for your career or your career progression, move. Girl, I'm talking to women. Move. Especially if there's no ring or baby. Please. Carrie's crashing the fuck out because she's feeling the dizziness from this constant push and pull with Big. She realizes she's kind of in an S&M relationship with him. She's a sadist, he's a masochist.
When it comes to relationships, how do you know when enough is enough?
She ends up drunk dialing to confront him over not informing her of the potential Paris move. She's like,
I think about you all the time. Correction, I think about us all the time. It's about being a grown-up. It's about being a man.
I think the issue here for the millionth time is that Big clearly does not want to be in the same kind of relationship that Carrie wants to be in. I wouldn't call not moving for your job growing up necessarily like Carrie does. What they both view as a good relationship is clearly so different. If I'm putting myself into the mind of Carrie right now, I feel like if she really wants this to work, she needs to get busier, she needs to do more with her life, share all the love she so easily gives to Big, more with her friends, her family, a pet, or something. Pick up a hobby. Or 10. Walk more, explore her city, explore the world. There is so much more to life than Big. And I say that because there are a lot of women who would get right along with Big in that regard. The woman could potentially be avoidantly attached or just have an incredibly rich, bright personal life. She could enjoy Big's presence while he's there, still think about him to an extent, but the thought of him isn't all-consuming like it is with Carrie.
Voilà le French hat, voilà le French pie.
She is so corny. He doesn't deserve her. He doesn't deserve this queen. Carrie has thought of all the ways to make Big's potential Paris move work, like sexting, even potentially moving over for a bit.
That would be great.
Wow, Big seems so excited. He goes on to tell her that she can't move to Paris for him. It has to be for yourself. And she says, why would I move to Paris if it wasn't for you? Oh my God, Carrie, get up. This is such loser behavior. I really can't. Like, get a life. Genuinely, just get a life. What do you mean you want to move halfway across the world for a man who's telling you you deserve better than that? Like, move for yourself and not me. Big says, I don't want you to uproot your life and expect anything. It seems like what Big is trying to get across here is it might not work out and this isn't going to make me marry you. Don't get pissed off if that ends up happening. He's indirectly telling her to slow down. And Carrie goes off.
I am such an idiot!
What the fuck?
Here are the important points from this argument. Carrie doesn't feel like Big cares about her being in his life. For Big, it isn't about them, it's about work. And Carrie feels like he's getting scared of getting closer in the relationship, and that's why he's leaving.
Why is it so hard for you to factor me into your life in any real way?
I guess old habits die hard.
Carrie storms out and she feels stupid for tying herself to a man that didn't want to be tied down. Big then shows up to her apartment at 1 a.m. in the morning and they go on to have an apology hookup. Later, Carrie wonders if she's addicted to the pain of chasing somebody unattainable. Well, he's not unattainable. Carrie attained him. The balance is just off. Carrie tells him to go to Paris and that she won't go with him. She knows it's over.
I was free, but there was nothing exquisite about it.
At this point, Carrie thinks she's accepted her situation, but she's still in the depression phase as she tries to move on from Big. She goes to therapy and starts meeting new men. Carrie is reveling in being single again. She says the best thing about being single is having time for your friends again. Nasty work. Nasty, nasty, nasty work. Relationships do not stop you from having time with friends. Your priorities do. I fear this is an obsession on Carrie's part. When Big is around, she just gets tunnel vision. And now when she's with her friends, all she can talk about is Big, how she feels sorry for him, how she's just so amazing and the best thing that he's ever had. I understand wanting to get everything out once you're out of the relationship, but it's seemingly all that she talks about and they are very sick of it.
All right, who's gonna tell her?
Her friends decide they've had enough, they have no more advice to offer her, and that she needs to go see a specialist because the obsession over Big is still there. That is really harsh. I understand the frustration over her constantly talking about the man that you warned her over and over and over and over again. Then again, it goes back to being in a village and being a villager.
Hey, I don't need therapy. I need new friends.
Carrie shares that she doesn't believe in therapy. She calls it self-indulgence, as if constantly talking about your shitty ex that your friends hate isn't self-indulgence. Self-indulgence is great, needed from time to time, but therapy has never been that. I do love how shows can give you an insight into the popular beliefs and attitudes of the time. The girls end up convincing Carrie to see a therapist, one that they refer her to, and when she's there, the therapist suggests to Carrie that she might be picking the wrong men, and Carrie has not even given her much information at all yet. So this is a crazy, could be a projection on the therapist's part. That is wild. Yes, Carrie obviously has a part to play in fucking up her relationships, but that comment suggests that the blame is all on Carrie. Also, as a therapist, knowing that Carrie is somebody who is averse to therapy in the first place, why would you say that to her? She shared to you that she doesn't want to be here. You also don't want to be here. She said, that's my 15 minutes. Okay, you can leave now. I'm gonna take that license off you, Buki. The statement made by the therapist makes Carrie overcorrect. She absolves herself of all responsibility for the issues she's had in relationships, saying, I don't pick the wrong men. They pick me. This is a characteristic I've come to observe with Carrie. A lot of the time she sees herself as a bystander in her relationships. Like she's not allowed to make decisions, therefore everything is her partner's fault. Yes, Big sucks. But Carrie knew that and she stayed. They both have their parts to play. And it obviously goes way further than that, but they had parts to play. They both contributed to it being a dumpster fire. Carrie complains to the ladies about the comment and how the therapist suggested that she likes to play games with men, which Carrie totally disagrees with. Miranda thinks that playing games is the only way to deal with men. Sam thinks the only way to control a man is via the bedroom. And Charlotte thinks that relationships are no place for games and are all about honest communication. And I agree with all of them depending on what kind of relationship it is. No further questions. Carrie blogs, do you have to play games to make a relationship work? At her next therapist session, she sees a man that she finds cute, which prompts her to arrive at the next session very early and dress the fuck up. They get to talking, he asks her out, they go on a date. Sure. Getting along well, they go back to his place where she learns that the reason he's in therapy is because after sleeping with women, he loses interest immediately. Carrie thinks maybe she does pick the wrong men. But how the hell was she supposed to know this was an issue until he told her? I don't think that counts as picking the wrong men, especially because she stopped seeing him straight afterwards. But she also stops going to therapy because of the fear of running into him, though surely just swap therapists. She was looking for any excuse to not go back to that lady again. Kudos to Carrie for breaking things off with the guy at the first red flag. Maybe therapy did help. You know what, honestly, Carrie is perfectly fine. I think her issue is just with Big. Like, I have never seen her act the way that she does with any other man but Big. It's wild. In this episode, Carrie goes through a mix of depression and acceptance. Since her breakup, Carrie feels like she has it all figured out. Almost like a relationship expert. However, her overconfidence ends up making her mess up another one of her relationships. Carrie tells the viewers about the various women that have broken up with Skipper over the past year. They're all career women who want to break up and focus on themselves. And Carrie somehow translates this to him being a sweet guy who's chasing women who are looking for jerks. Of course, she's blaming the women she doesn't even know. Miranda's dating another lawyer, and he's one of those pretentious contrarian types.
Well, I thought the actor who played Carlo was kind of charming.
That moron looks like he walked into work before the anesthesia wore off from his lobotomy.
All right.
He's doing this macho man thing that I'm sure some people like, but I cannot imagine entertaining a man like this.
Come on, Gene Shalit, get in the damn cab. Come on.
Am I your dog? Am I your bro? Now, Miranda hates that he orders her around, except when they're in the bedroom. Sam suggests limiting the time they spend together to just the bedroom, and Miranda looks at her like she's crazy.
Oh, that's a nice, healthy relationship.
As opposed to how he treats you now. Okay. She thinks that he's acting this way because he's stressed out at work, and once things calm down, he will be nicer. Making excuses for a man you barely know. Girl, nothing is gonna change. Let's put trust in what we see what we see with our own two eyes. Carrie is now a dating expert, and she names her friends' dating patterns. Miranda chases angry guys. I don't think I've seen this before. Sam puts a wall between her and the men she dates / hooks up with. And Charlotte waits for the perfect man to come around, projects her fantasy onto him, and then gets very disappointed because she tends to put her eggs in one basket. I'm sorry, is Carrie talking about herself? Sam and Miranda are thinking the same when they point out that she did the exact same thing with Big. She put all her eggs in Big's basket. Carrie then wonders, were we all in fact dating the same person over and over again? Carrie has her old fuck buddy John to come around for a quickie before she's off to dinner. This guy's played by the same guy that plays the Vulture in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Fun fact, this man is somebody she's always gone to after breakups for a little bit of fun. She decides to change the dynamic by asking him out. Although Sam warns her about doing just this, especially with a situationship that has been successful for so long. Carrie, of course, doesn't take her advice. They go on a date, it's super awkward, and she realizes that she doesn't like him. She tries again, doesn't work. She fucked up with the fuck buddy, and they would never see each other again. From this episode to the finale, Carrie well and truly enters the acceptance phase. She's dating this guy Vaughn, and she meets his entire family and they love her. They go back to hers and he creams his jeans before they can even really get going. How unfortunate. Moving on. She's discussing last night's events with her friends, and yeah, it was awkward, but she likes him. Although the thing she likes most about him is his family.
Anyone there you can find? What? I'm trying to be helpful.
Later, Sam and Carrie meet Charlotte and her brother Wesley at a bar. Wesley, a recent divorcee, is visiting for the week, and Sam is immediately very into him. Char is put off by this because she doesn't want Wesley and Sam hooking up. She didn't even want Sam there in the first place. Shirley just talks to her. Anyways, Charlotte wakes up the next morning to Samantha in her brother's shirt in her kitchen. Very upset, she slut shames her friend, talking about her vagina is always open. Why would you say that? Why would you say that to anybody, let alone your friend? I understand the discomfort that Charlotte feels, but she never communicated with Sam that her brother was off limits. Even that, I'm like, If it was an issue, you should have talked about it. She can't read your mind. Charlotte's naivete is often endearing, but in cases like this, I'm just like, grow the fuck up. You're not a child. If something upsets you, talk to your friend respectfully, like the fellow adult that they are. Wesley is still mad at Charlotte for driving Sam out of the house, and she continues to talk shit about her friend to her brother. She acts like Sam's sexual proclivities make her less of a person or not worthy to date or hook up with. This is the girl who met a man at a wedding and hooked up with him straight away, by the way. Which I'm not demonizing, girl, go get yours. But you can't be sexually liberated and then go rag on somebody else, much less your friend, for also doing the same thing. Like, why? Why? Although I will say, when Sam realized she was attracted to her brother, she should have said something to Charlotte. Like, if she really wanted to pursue it, she should have said something to Charlotte. What blows my mind is it's not even the fact that Sam does some morally insane shit when it comes to sex. Like in last season when she wanted to hook up with a man that would make secret sex tapes with women for his art. Charlotte is simply uncomfortable because her friend likes to have sex, like Charlotte does. It took Sam hooking up with her brother to show what she actually felt about her friend. And that's just horrible and sad. Wesley explains to Charlotte that after his divorce, he was finally glad to let loose with Sam. He explains that it was helping him move on.
That's Samantha. You really got a good friend there.
And she finally realizes that there's nothing wrong with what Sam did. And I can't tell whether she changed her mind because this is her brother and she values his opinion highly because they are so close, or simply because it's a man telling her that what Sam did was also good for him, and because it's a man validating what Sam did. Maybe it's even a little bit of both. Charlotte heads to Sam's to apologize.
That was a terrible thing I said.
Yes, it was.
And she forgives her. Carrie's back with Vaughn, and his mom is all she can talk about until they get intimate and he prematurely ejacts again. And she goes right back to talking about his mom. Like that's her girlfriend. She's got their schedule down pat. Okay, we almost fuck. And then we talk about your mom. Carrie eventually realizes she can't just keep ignoring this. Their sex life isn't sustainable, and she has a discussion with him about this. And she brings it up so nicely, by the way. He gets so offended that she wants to compromise during sex so she can get hers too. All she does is suggest that when he's getting too excited that they take a break. And it's like he doesn't understand why.
No. I don't want to talk about it.
They head to his parents' home and he's still acting like a big baby. His mom realizes this and tries to start a therapy session with him and the whole family, but he's still mad and Carrie leaves. Finally. She realizes the only person she'll really miss is his mom, and they have a little breakup in front of their house.
Call me sometime.
I will.
Carrie finally leaves the surrogate family and goes to join her own.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Carrie learns some lessons when she dates the male version of herself. Charlotte's dating a surgeon named Bram, who falls asleep one night mid-coitus. He's perpetually exhausted because he works so much, but this just breaks Charlotte's heart. She's crying to Carrie about it later, and she gives her the perfect response. He was tired, and it had nothing to do with you. Charlotte is still crashing out. You know that Jemima Jo Kirk meme that's like, I think you guys might be thinking about yourselves a little too much. This is how I feel about Charlotte in this very moment. In what world is an overworked orthopedic surgeon falling asleep in bed because of you? Like, be so for real. She's always so concerned about what a man thinks about her. Ugh, am I being too hard on this woman? Yes. Yes. Yes, I am. Okay, I know that women are socialized to think this way to this day. And of course, the presence of that was far greater when the show was airing. I was getting so annoyed at some of these decisions. Like, all I see is Charlotte trapped in this fruitless patriarchal cage. And I know she's breaking out of it slowly but surely. It just hurts to see. Carrie's being fantastic and she's taking care of her friend while she's having her sad moment. And she's talking to Samantha later, who blames the whole situation on Charlotte. Oh my God, these girls just take turns being horrible to each other. That's wild. I love Sam, but she has some insane character flaws, like this loserish behavior over a man you don't know. Sam thinks Charlotte is in fact bad in bed. Sam feels like she's so much better than her because no one has ever fallen asleep on her. Did you get the check? Did you get the award? Did you win the prize? What is the prize? What is the prize? There is no prize.
There's not going to be
It won't be a prize, you dumb slut. I say that with all the love in my heart. So she feels like she's better because no one's ever fallen asleep on her and she gets affirmations all the time. Male validation is what's making you say these mean-spirited things behind your friend's back. Interesting. I also find it really interesting that both Sam and Charlotte's view on being good in bed is purely based on whether the man is enjoying it or not, and of course that contributes, but it's not the sole factor. What about you? For somebody who thinks like this, Sam is surprisingly progressive.
Soon everyone will be pansexual. It won't matter if you're gay or straight.
How do you know if you're good in bed? Carrie types out. The next day, she runs into a new guy, a composer, Patrick. They go on a date and she leaves him with her number. Although 3 days go by and he doesn't call her. She starts to get a little concerned. Her thought, he thinks I'm ugly. There goes that Jemima Jo Kirk meme again. Miranda talks some sense into her by saying something along the lines of, it's amazing how we can feel good about ourselves, but if a guy doesn't mirror the feeling back, we internalize that. Preaching to the motherfucking choir. The patriarchal cage that makes some women seek male validation so adamantly banks on these women having low self-esteem. And I sympathize because it can be hard to realize that you have low sense of self, even if it's just in relation to one person when you like that person so much. But we gotta get up. We gotta get up, we gotta stand, and we gotta keep going. Another day, Carrie runs into Patrick again, and she gives him a little bit of shade, and he explains why he ghosted her. Because he's a recovering alcoholic, and it isn't recommended that they go on dates within the first year, and he got scared. She tells him that that doesn't bother her, especially because he only has 1 month left to go till he hits the 1 year mark. They discuss each other's red flags while he drops her off at her front stoop. She leans in for a kiss goodbye, and he walks off. On their next date, he almost kisses her, but walks off again. On their third date, however, she's able to get the full French. And he tells her what he was worried about. He's never had sex sober, and he's worried that he'll suck. But it works out great, and he's so excited that he was able to do and enjoy it sober.
You are the best.
best.
Well.
And she's having lunch with her friends the next day, and Charlotte is still going on about being bad in bed. Once again, Miranda gives her a reality check, and Char acknowledges that she may be good at some things, but not this. So she's going to take a tantric sex workshop taught by a psychologist. Okay, she's working on the problem which she apparently has, instead of continuing to beat herself up about it. Fantastic. So Carrie soon realizes that Patrick's newest addiction is sober sex with her.
I think Patrick's addicted to me.
And at the workshop, Sam talks about how she's so offended that her gay friends wanted to have a threesome with her, but then changed their minds.
What did I do to turn them off?
Girl, they're gay. I fear that was always a possibility. I love little moments like these that the women have, laughing like schoolgirls, making jokes while the teacher's teaching. It really adds to the realism of the friendship. It doesn't really add to the plot, but it adds to the vibe, to the aura. Charlotte has taken what she learned from the workshop, and the surgeon doesn't fall asleep on her again. In fact, he enjoys it. Sure. I'm so sure he was just super sleepy that one time, but whatever. Carrie and Patrick are walking when he's... Sorry, I just got scared. Carrie and Patrick are walking when he tells her that he loves her. They've been dating for about 10 days at this point. She thankfully gives him a reality check. This is a new addiction. You don't love me. You love this new feeling that you're experiencing. She tells him she wants to slow down, and he just doesn't know what to do with himself. And the next morning, early as fuck by the way, he shows up at her apartment, drunk as shit, still in last night's clothes, and throwing a fit at Carrie for making him fall in love with her. He then strips in the middle of the street while crying out for her, and he eventually walks off, and they never see each other again. Praise be. This is so funny to me because with the catching feelings super quickly and then crashing out when the feelings aren't reciprocated, it feels like Carrie was dating herself. I wonder if she realizes that if Big showed her feelings that quickly that she would jump right on it. Although then that wouldn't be Big. So then maybe she wouldn't. I don't know. Carrie is still on her acceptance journey, but Big returns and threatens that. Charlotte's friend gives her a great deal during August for a home in the Hamptons, and she suggests to the ladies that they go on a little vacation. The girls are worried that having a share house is something more for women in their 20s, because they're in their 30s and they're past that now. But Charlotte is able to convince them, thankfully. I think that's such a wild belief, and I hope that I'm still going on fun girls trips in my 30s, personally. At work, Sam is upset that her assistant, a 20-something-year-old woman, is acting out. And on the way to the Hamptons, the women share their contempt for women in their 20s. Carrie tells Miranda and Sam to have a bit more compassion towards these younger women because they were in their 20s once too. She calls cynicism something that they have over girls in their 20s. Cynicism indeed. Why are we competing with women whose prefrontal cortexes have not formed yet? There's this 26-year-old guy that Charlotte meets in the bus on the way to the Hamptons, and she lies and says that she's 27. This is coercive in nature. We are not feeling Charlotte. We are not feeling Charlotte at this current moment. When they get to the Hamptons, the guy comes over to the beach house and then invites the ladies over for a bonfire that night. The ladies are partying on the beach with the 20-something-year-olds, so people are bumping into them, they're throwing up, and the girls are just ready to leave at this point. They're completely out of their element with these 20-somethings. Carrie then meets a young fan who wants to be a writer, and she gives her phone number so she could potentially become her mentor. Over with Charlotte, she has a night with the man that she lied to her age about so that she could sleep with him. Charlotte, weren't you just being demeaning to your friend Sam about sexual acts, and this is what you're getting up to? Shame. Shame. Back in the city, Carrie wonders about the allure of the 20s. Should they fear these younger women as a threat to their survival? Or pity them because they're dumb, naive, and have no idea what they're in for? In her column, she asks, 20-something girls, friend or foe? That night, Carrie takes her new apprentice, who is so enamored by her, by the way, to a book party. She tells Carrie about this memoir she wants to write, about her and girls her age saving their virginity for marriage. Carrie looks at her like she's crazy.
Are you seriously telling me that you've never had sex with a man?
Carrie soon bumps into the author's doctor, Bradley, who is coincidentally going to be at the Hamptons later that week, where Carrie's going back to. So they plan to meet there. Dr. Bradley soon shows up and meets the ladies, and Carrie's not sure just how interested she is yet. He asks her out, and she keeps on making excuses, although he's aware of how good he looks on paper. He's a doctor, he's polite, he's funny, he's got a house in the Hamptons, and she ends up seeing him that night, and they have a very wholesome evening together, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Back at the beach house, Carrie's mentee has invited herself over unannounced, and she paints Carrie's nails while blaming women for the devaluation of sex in society. These women do it so much, it's just not special anymore. Who are they doing it with? Quickly. Quickly! She's not like other girls, she's special, she's different, and most of all, she's above them. Carrie now wonders what it is her mentee actually likes about her column. It's called Sex in the City after all. Sam has realized that her ex-assistant took her contacts and has become a PR powerhouse of her own. She's upset because she feels like her ex-assistant did a better job than she could have. And she sucks it up and decides to go network instead of going to war. Over with Charlotte, she catches her young guy talking to another girl and scolds him for giving her crabs. And he scolds her for lying about her age, although she still thinks that she did nothing wrong. Carrie comes to the conclusion that the biggest danger that these girls pose is to themselves. They're not threats. They might be annoying like her mentee, but they're not threats.
They were simply our youthful doppelgangers who needed our compassion more than anything. Yes!
Yes! And then she runs into Big, hand in hand with a 20-something-year-old, and all those thoughts go out the window. Call back to the last episode. It's amazing how we can feel good about ourselves, but if a guy doesn't mirror the feeling back, we internalize that. So Big just got back from Paris and Carrie is absolutely heartbroken. He tells her that Natasha is a girl he met in Paris. Cue confusion. That means that they flew back from Paris together. She learns that the Paris deal fell through, so he's back in New York for good. He keeps going on about how he meant to call her, and instead of sulking in front of him like usual, she goes to sulk in front of her friends, which is also pretty usual, I guess.
He has a new girlfriend. She's 26.
She has every right to feel this way, honestly. What a mindfuck that must be. Progress. Also body tea. Carrie finally lets go, but the return of Big brings some depression. Miranda runs into Steve the bartender on the streets, and she runs away. Over lunch with the gals, she talks about how she's not the type to stay friends with exes, and she just doesn't understand how people do it. I'm the same, honestly. Out of sight, out of mind type beat.
We didn't work out. You need to not exist.
Miranda, Charlotte, and Sam share more or less the same sentiment, but Carrie thinks that it's childish not being able to stay friends with your ex.
We keep dresses we'll never wear again. We throw away our ex-boyfriends.
Okay, girl. Unpopular opinion, if Carrie's friends did the amount of emotional damage that Big did, I don't think she'd still be around. I just think with relationships, when you realize that you're not compatible with your partner, break up. And I think if you can manage to maintain a healthy platonic relationship after that, that's great. But then if things don't work out in a relationship capacity, it wouldn't surprise me that they wouldn't work out in a friendship either. Maybe Carrie is the childish one. Carrie feels like the love that Big and her had can't be the same as what he has for Natasha. So therefore that love can be turned into friendship. Not sure about that logic, but sure. She saw Big and Natasha on a date the other day and she thought, yes, we're over, but I'm happy for him. Can you be friends with an ex? She writes. Over with Miranda, Steve shows up at her front door. This is kind of creepy to me, but she's okay with it, so we move. They miss each other and they make plans to hang out, so maybe they can just be friends. Carrie decides to call Big as friends.
Hello?
Ooh, she immediately hangs up. She constantly refers to Natasha, a woman she does not know, as the idiot stick figure. Over Big. Y'all have damn near the same body type. Relax. So it's clear that she's not over Big just quite yet, and she probably isn't ready to be friends with him either. She calls again, but Big answers this time, and they plan a lunch together as friends, and Big is super nervous when they meet up, but things get more loose and fun once they get a couple drinks in them. Carrie requests that they make a pact to not talk about their relationships until they get serious. And Big tells her, well, my relationship is serious. Crazy because he didn't know her age last episode.
I don't know. 26, 27.
Big drops a bombshell.
We're engaged.
Huh?
Oh.
Carrie crashes out. She cannot understand how a man who had such severe commitment issues with her is already engaged to somebody else within a few months.
You told me you never wanted to get married again, ever.
She yells at Big as he tries to calm her down, and she once again takes a dig at Natasha before storming out of the restaurant. It's amazing how we can feel good about themselves, but if a guy doesn't mirror the feeling back, we internalize that. I thought not being able to be friends with your ex was childish. I mean, Carrie is objectively being childish. She wanted to be back with Big on her own terms, which is fair because Big is always doing things on his terms. Big was not good to her, but he's seemingly, or at least Carrie thinks he's good to Natasha purely because he's proposed. Girl, that doesn't mean anything. That does not mean anything. I get how this can feel like a stab to the heart, but that man was torturing Carrie. I hope she eventually finds solace in the fact that hopefully he's not treating Natasha the same way, and that is why she agreed to marry him. He finally found his person, like, go be you, go be free with your lavender, you know? She just keeps directing her anger towards Natasha, and that is so unbelievably lame. After Miranda and Steve's date, they end up hooking up. Messy. They decide to become friends with benefits. Later, Big calls Carrie to apologize, and he says that he would never hurt her on purpose. She apologizes for her behavior and acknowledges that she needs to move on, and hopefully they can actually be friends one day. She sits down, opens her mail, and finds an invite to their engagement party. She then airs her grievances to the ladies over drinks later.
Why her?
Her friends feed her delusions by comparing her story to that of a movie called The Way We Are. This is Miranda's synopsis of the plot. A man is in love with a woman who is complicated and has wild curly hair, like Carrie. So he breaks up with her and marries a simple girl with straight hair, like Natasha. What a way to what a way to boil this complicated ass situation into essentially nothing. That's crazy. That's a big jump. That's a crazy jump. Y'all do not know this woman. In order to make herself feel better about things that were purely Big's decisions, she has to put herself in a fantasy world where she was the one that got away, the one who no new woman would ever live up to. I wonder why she feels the need to place herself above these women that, once again, she's never met before. Whatever she's got to do to get over him, I guess, but surely save those thoughts for your diary, girl. Like, what's going on? Did the journal factory explode? Or something. On her way home, Carrie decides to stop at the venue of Big and Natasha's engagement party. Not to go in, just to creep outside. She was invited, to be fair. Big spots her, goes up to her, and she asks a question which she just needs the answer to. Why wasn't it me? I'm finding it. He says, it just got so hard, and she's... I actually can't with this. It just got so hard, and she's... well, she's easier. That's the most diabolical thing he could have said at that moment, which is why I think he's playing games with her. Why would you say that? She's easier? Oh my god, okay, sure. Carrie interprets that as Big left her because he couldn't tame her. I can't wait to get to know Natasha in future seasons. Well, I hope I get to anyways. And know exactly why he called her easier. Because right now it's giving, oh, she doesn't argue with me. This allows Carrie to realize it wasn't just her. They were incompatible. Will she actually let him go? I guess we'll find out in the next season. Wow, what a trip. This is such a fun insight into the things that I guess women my age, you know, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't know, enjoyed back in the day. It's so interesting to see the opinions that we consume so easily, so freely without really thinking about who it was hurting, without realizing that it was hurting us. A lot of the times, these issues that these girls have with relationships, it could easily be solved by communicating and leaving. There needed to be at least 10 times more leaving in this season. But you know, in this day and age where it's the norm, I guess for people my age and in a similar context to me, to my life, to be socially conscious, and it's easy to sit here and say, oh, things from this show, they shouldn't have aired, or this was so fucked up, I can't believe that they thought this way. But it did, it aired, they put it in the episodes. Am I sitting here using my zillennial eyes to judge the actions of the Sex and the City characters and writers? Oh yes! But Sex and the City been aired. And nothing I say right now will change the trajectory of the show. It's been done. It's been over. Comments that I see most especially on my Sex and the City videos, it seems like people watch these and watch me sharing my opinions, which like fucking at the end of the day, they don't matter. Like in the grand scheme of things. And they think that I'm trying to be high and mighty. Like no, at the end of the day, I'm sharing my opinions. If those happen to be different to yours, my goal is not to like make you feel bad about what you feel or how you live your life. This is just me sharing my personal opinions. And it's not to say that what I think is right. You know, I'm a growing person. What I think could very very well change within the next day, hour, weeks, months, you know? I just wanted to share. The way Carrie views things, the way I view things, they're very different, and that's perfectly okay. So you know what? Maybe Carrie being a bad friend thus far wasn't intentional, and I'm sure they wrote her this way purely because she is the protagonist. Therefore, her stressors, her insecurities, her bad traits, they have to be the focal point on the show. It's a drama series. The writers would have to come up with, you know, new points of contention for Carrie to deal with, which can make Carrie seem quite problematic. So could this be seen as me being a little hard on Carrie? Sure. But if Carrie has a problem with it, then she can email me. Oh wait, she's not real. So, will Carrie become a better friend in the seasons following? Subscribe to me to find out. Follow me. But girl, I hope so. I hope so. That would be fantastic, watching a beautiful character arc, but like I said, we shall see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know all of your thoughts below. Let's have a little discussion down in the comments section. Tell me your thoughts. If you would like to follow me on my social medias, they will be at the end of the video and in the description below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!